Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances while the township's
politics, as they say, is a dirty game. But in the small village of Dalton, Illinois, the drama between Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her former ally, Trustee Carmen Carroll, has taken betrayal and corruption to shocking new levels. If you thought celebrity scandals were dramatic, wait until you hear about this political soap opera, one so intense it could rival anything on television. It's a tale of power abuse, deceit, and the unraveling of once unbreakable ties.
Everybody, this is the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is.
What was it for?
It was for sure.
What exactly is going on between Tiffany Henyard and Carmen Carroll? 4 years, the two were inseparable partners in every way, with some even suggesting they were partners in crime. Henyard, who once proudly referred to herself as the super mayor of Dalton, ruled with an iron fist, often flaunting her authority with an arrogance that offended many. Despite her controversial leadership, Carroll remained her most loyal supporter, defending her decisions and ignoring the growing scandals surrounding Henyard's tenure. But everything changed when Carroll suddenly switched sides, positioning herself as a whistleblower, exposing Henyard's actions, and leaving everyone wondering, why now? What's really happening behind the scenes?
Appointment, that's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next.
To understand this political fallout, let's go back a bit. Tiffany Henyard was elected mayor of Dalton in 2021, promising change and prosperity for the village. However, her administration soon became entangled in scandal, with accusations of misusing public funds and retaliating against political opponents. Her time in office was anything but smooth, and Dalton residents grew increasingly frustrated with her leadership. For 2 years, Carroll stood by Henyard's side, despite the mayor's increasingly questionable actions, including lavish taxpayer-funded travel and excessive personal expenses. Many were surprised by Carroll's silence, given the extravagant and almost autocratic nature of the administration. However, that silence has now been broken. In an email statement sent to WGA, Carroll made stunning accusations against Henyard, claiming that the mayor acted unethically and manipulatively, using residents, vendors, and employees to solidify her own power while portraying a false image of success, all at the expense of hardworking Dalton taxpayers. Carroll admitted that she had placed too much trust in Henyard and her administration for too long. However, she claimed she could no longer remain silent after recognizing the cracks in the facade. Now, people are questioning her sudden change of heart. Is she genuinely trying to correct past wrongs, or is she simply attempting to save herself? Unsurprisingly, Henyard did not take this betrayal lightly. In a public meeting, she ridiculed Carroll, mockingly referring to her as lying Carroll and dismissing her allegations as a desperate attempt to stir up controversy. Given Henyard's reputation for using intimidation tactics and insults to silence her critics, Carroll's public defection was a shocking and unexpected move.
Invoices, but those invoices lead to more questions, and sometimes we don't get answers to those questions, and so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making sure.
But why did Carroll choose this moment to speak out? Henyard is currently under federal investigation for a long list of alleged crimes, including corruption, misappropriation of taxpayer funds, and even covering up an alleged assault involving one of her colleagues. Carroll's decision to reveal everything she witnessed over the past 2 years came while she was on a work trip in Las Vegas, just as the FBI ramped up its investigation into Henyard. Was this merely a coincidence, or is Carroll strategically distancing herself from the mayor before it's too late?
One-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon. And the main thing is,
as pressure mounts on Henyard, Carroll is trying to portray herself as a hero who finally stood up to the so-called Dalton dictator. However, many residents aren't convinced. 4 years, she was one of Henyard's staunchest supporters, never questioning the mayor's decisions or the ethical concerns surrounding her administration. Now, locals believe she's simply abandoning a sinking ship. A Dalton resident summed up the sentiment: she's just bailing before it all comes crashing down. Many argue that anyone who enabled Henyard should be held accountable and that Carroll's attempt to backtrack now is too little, too late, the outrage is justified. The allegations against Henyard are extensive, with one of the most glaring issues being her extravagant spending habits. Reports reveal that the village spent over $99,000 on a single trip to Atlanta, where Henyard and her entourage stayed at the luxurious Four Seasons Hotel. In just a few months, Dalton racked up over $100,000 in travel expenses, including first-class flights, five-star accommodations, and lavish dinners, all funded by taxpayer dollars.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting, I do not handle it.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No.
But it doesn't stop there. Henyard is also accused of using village funds for personal shopping sprees at retailers like Amazon, Target, and Walgreens. In one particularly shocking instance, she allegedly spent $33,000 on Amazon in a single day. Unsurprisingly, Dalton is now facing a staggering $365 million deficit, an alarming contrast to the $561 million success Henyard once boasted. Her financial mismanagement extended beyond personal spending. During her tenure, police overtime costs soared, with some officers earning more in overtime than their base salary. One officer with a base salary of $87,200 received an additional $127,000 in overtime pay. Another officer, earning $73,500, raked in $110,000 in overtime alone. Adding to the scandals, Henyard's close associate, Louis Lacey, the village's deputy police chief, has been charged with bankruptcy fraud for allegedly hiding assets and income to avoid paying creditors.
The government always does it, is to go investigate people around her. That's what they're...
Henyard's leadership, or lack thereof, has come under intense scrutiny. Many describe her as someone who equates authority with intimidation. As one observer put it, Tiffany believes that being a boss means being a bully. Perhaps the most disturbing allegations involve former Dalton trustee Valeria Stubbs, who accused Henyard of weaponizing the police department against political opponents. Stubbs claims that Henyard orchestrated a drive-by shooting at her home in retaliation for her criticisms. According to Stubbs, 2 of her tenants' cars were shot at in the early morning hours, and she believes Henyard was responsible. Stubbs also alleges that Henyard repeatedly harassed her, even showing up at her home with a group of police officers and city employees in an attempt to intimidate her. Then there's the scandal involving an alleged assault. During a work trip to Las Vegas, one of Henyard's allies reportedly assaulted a village employee. When the victim reported the incident to Henyard, the mayor allegedly tried to cover it up, warning that going public would damage her reputation. The victim was later placed on unpaid leave and ultimately fired. Carol's attempt to distance herself from Henyard is unsurprising, but many believe it's too little, too late. Carol's involvement in Henyard's questionable activities, including a highly suspicious $110,000 donation to Henyard's cancer charity on the very day the foundation's paperwork was filed, raises serious concerns about her own integrity. Her abrupt shift from loyalist to whistleblower only strengthens the suspicion that she is acting in self-preservation.
We knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be done. It should be done. So, but like I said, you have to...
As one outraged citizen put it, why can't we have transparency with our tax dollars? It's our money, and we deserve to know how it's being spent. But discontent with Henyard's administration extends beyond Dalton's residence. As more revelations come to light and legal pressure intensifies, Carol's betrayal may be the first sign of broader upheaval within Dalton's government. Will Henyard's administration collapse under the weight of its own corruption? Will more trustees step forward, or will they choose self-preservation over accountability? And what about Carol? Will she be held responsible for her own role in Dalton's scandals, or will she successfully distance herself from Henyard's downfall? One thing is clear, Dalton desperately needs change. But will that change come from within, or will outside intervention be necessary to clean up the mess? For now, Dalton residents are left with a pressing question. Who can they trust with their local government, in a system where too many leaders seem more focused on self-preservation than serving the community?